Music to Ghost Whisperer is vital.
The music on the show is also challenging and diverse.
Without the music and the sound design, it would be a less exciting experience.
We've relied much more on the extremely fine work of our composer, Mark Snow. He can look at a scene and just know what it needs.
Mark Snow is somebody that I've worked with a good deal in the past, as has John Gray.
John Gray, who's the creator of the show, asked me if I would work on it, and I said, of course.
We knew that we were doing a show that had a certain amount of supernatural, also had a certain amount of romance, and hence we wanted a certain lightness to it. Mark was the perfect person.
He has a certain sound palette that's very distinctive. Through the seasons, he's modified his sound palette, but it's Mark Snow, and he has a certain signature. You can't mistake it when you hear his score.
Can you see us?
The theme of Ghost Whisperer started with the opening titles.
It had to have some sort of magical, mystical quality to it.
When we started to work with Mark on the opening title theme music, first of all, we showed him the visuals. And then we just talked about kind of sights and sounds that we thought were part of the spirit world. He figured out how to put sounds to the emotions and the history of the spirit world.
You said you would keep him away from my girl. You didn't keep your promise.
With Mark's score, you definitely have a certain theme under each character, even if it's just the instrumentation.
What do you say? I conk you on the head, and then you can forget your worries too. Because then we could just sit here and enjoy this glorious, oblivious afternoon together.
Yeah. Sounds good.
There have been so many intimate themes, then all of a sudden, you know, you'll find yourself doing a real quirky piece. That happens once in a while, and that's really fun. This Jamie Kennedy character is kind of a goofy professor. When there's quirky stuff, he's sort of like the man for that.
Doctor of Psychology and Philosophy, and Doctor of Love in my last year of high school, if you must know.
Very impressive. Bye-bye.
In the first couple of years, it was really wall-to-wall music and loud and pounding and big, and the sound effects were big, and the whole thing was rocking pretty good. And now it's been toned down, and I think it's found its perfect balance.
It's a little bit more subtle, a little bit more sophisticated in the fourth season, I think.
The music is much more mysterious. It's not as heavy and dark and scary all the time. Mark's music has really moved to the forefront even more so than it was before.
And now in season 4, we're definitely way more into songs, scoring the scenes with songs, and the music is a lot simpler.
Lindsay Wolfington is our music supervisor, and she picks out the source cues or the music, the songs that we use on the show.
In general, I would say we use pop singer-songwriter and songs with heart. I get the note, we want a song that makes your heart ache a lot. So we use a lot of ballads, that emotional ballad that could also be heard on the radio. This season, Sam's type of music has been the David Gray, Jack Johnson type, and so we've been using a lot more male acoustic guitar singer-songwriters. And we still use a lot of female ballads because that is Melinda's sound. But it's been kind of fun with Sam. We kind of got to introduce a new type of music into Ghost Whisperer.
The Jim/Sam/Melinda story relied very heavily on that kind of music this season, and it was really fun to do that. It was a departure for us. We feel it worked really well.
I think we all know how a song can either make you cry or make you smile or, you know, give you goosebumps. And when that happens, that means I'm doing my job right.
Anything good in there?
Yeah, huge story. Did you read about that guy who kidnapped those 2 women?
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Yeah. Happy ending for the woman. Can you imagine what it was like for her to see her family again?
Yeah, thank God the police got there in time.
Yeah, she gets a real second chance. Kind of like me.
We have many conversations about what the music just conceptually for that particular episode should be like, and then going forward what the individual cuts are, how the film dictates it, and how we feel as producers, directors, and writers about what's going to happen in the scene musically.
When the editor starts to cut the picture, we start to temp. And if he gives us a scene, we'll temp that scene. If he gives us an act, we'll temp that act.
It's basically a roadmap for the composer to follow so he can follow the mood and the tone of what the producers want for the show.
Hey, honey, I just want to help you.
And the second part is getting songs from Lindsay Wolfington, the music supervisor, and we'll work together picking songs out either to score the scenes with the songs or to have them as background music.
This song was with a female vocal, but it was in Jim's apartment. So they said, can we get a song with the male vocal? So I found a replacement.
Then it goes to the director's cut, and then they might make a few notes. And then it goes to the producer's cut, and then they may make a few notes, they usually do. And then it goes to the network. After it goes to the network, we do a spotting session.
Love the creaks that you put in, so
Yeah.
keep the maximum keep on.
More creaks.
And we hear the wind as soon as we're back on the inside. We're feeling the wind of those curtains being blown. We will go through the show and talk about what is in this scene and where are the important beats and what is the important tone of this scene.
And the musical tone here is, I think, sort of queasy, you know. It's like, it's sort of an unsettled stomach feel.
Our composer, Mark Snow, gets those notes, and then he composes the final score.
And then we'll take that, put that to picture, and take that to the dub stage, where we mix the show, and that way we can tweak stuff, move stuff around.
Do you want to keep scoring under the song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah?
They're going to kind of blend. You're going to make it work beautifully.
Who are you? What do you want? You were at the hospital. You've been following me. Just tell me what you want or I can't help you.
The 2 of you. You're both thieves.
It's really important to make a musical statement that's really not over the top or corny, you know, or old-fashioned, but that's really heartfelt as much as possible. Especially at these crossover moments, to make those scenes seem as real as they can be. And the rest of it is basically leading up to these moments.
The most important thing in a series is to give that show legs and make sure that it grows so that the audience keeps coming back. Ghost Whisperer, the audience has grown, the storytelling has grown, and then all of the other elements, including the music and the sound design, have grown and evolved and become much more sophisticated and much more special.